Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. So there hasn't been too much going on in the means of bodybuilding news, but hopefully this video was entertaining. So starting the video off with 7-time Mr. Olympia Phil Heath. These are the most recent updates from him. And actually he was at an event and a fan wanted to hit a front leg spread. Only reason Phil hit it. No, I don't think Phil is coming back, but Phil will be commentating this year's Olympia, which I am very excited for. And I thought this was pretty interesting as well. Also at that same event, Greene was spotted, and Phil Heath just had to remind him that he does have 7 Olympia titles. Greatest rivalry in bodybuilding history, maybe one of the only rivalries that was actually real, but it's just interesting to see, man. These guys having fun. They're probably great friends now. And also very interesting, Phil Heath trained with Shannon Sharpe. If you guys don't know who Shannon Sharpe is, he is a former NFL superstar. And Shannon is also a great co-host of a talk show / news sports channel. But Shannon is actually pretty jacked to be 50 plus, man. I thought about making a video on this guy before, but he doesn't really pertain to our industry. But just great to see Phil Heath, man, looking good, feeling good, and also working with other incredible athletes. More than excited to see him commentate this year's Olympia. Now switching over to the man himself, Derek Lunsford, will be making an appearance at this year's Olympia. Now, initially when I seen Derek at the Pittsburgh Pro, I was like, okay, he could be top 2, top 3. But slowing down a little bit and really analyzing Derek's physique, I think he may struggle in certain departments as far as size. Especially from the side, as I always say, guys coming up from 212 or guys that are lacking size seem to get exposed in the side poses. Also, I would like to see Derek Lunsford bring the arms up as well. Isn't going to be able to do that by this year's Olympia, but definitely in the future. It's been so much praise about Derek Lunsford. I don't want to put him down, but these are just little things that I've paid attention to that no one seems to be talking about. But who knows, Derek could very well be 2nd or 3rd place at this year's Olympia. Now switching to Samson Dauda, who is another guy people are expecting to shake some things up, to be as high as top 6 at this year's Olympia. Now as we know, one of Samson's weakest spots was his back, but as we can see now, Samson has definitely brought the back up. Still needs a little bit more work, but as far as density and that 3D bubbly look that he has all over his body, the back definitely has that. And I do think in the future, Samson's back is going to be mind-blowing, man. The improvements that this guy has been making over the past year, absolutely unbelievable. This rear leg spread will be very, very competitive on this year's Olympia stage. So let me know in the comment section below, of course, very, very early, where do you guys think Samson Dauda will place? I mean, of course, he's a lock for the top 10. But could Samson potentially push into that top 6 and knock somebody out? Lower lats have really came up, man. Thickness is insane. Now, in the next update of the day, this is the most recent update from Michal Krizo ahead of this year's Amateur Olympia. 3 weeks out, pretty sure he's not going to have a hard time getting this pro card. One of the main things I want to see Krizo do is just work on controlling of his midsection, or in this side tricep pose, he was using the arm to actually hide the midsection. But other than that, he could be a little bit more conditioned. I'm excited to see this guy on stage soon. Switching over to Iain Valliere, we have a very small update from him at 13 weeks out from this year's Olympia. Iain is currently sitting at 280 pounds. Now, I consider him to pretty much be the gatekeeper of guys that want to get into the top 6. Iain has been 7th place for 2 years straight, pretty much solidifying him as one of the best in our sport. But if you want to get into that top 6, you got to be Iain, Justin Rodriguez, Akeem Williams. But definitely Iain, he's 7th place. He want to work up into that top 6. Love or hate this guy, he is one of the best in our sport. And in the next update of the day, we have more updates on Marc Hector ahead of this year's Arnold Classic UK. Now, Marc actually did a great podcast with Fuad Abiyad over on his channel. You guys should go check that out. But Marc said he would be 25 pounds heavier than the last time he stepped on stage. He said this offseason he got up to 304, currently sitting around 271 pounds right now. I'm excited to see this guy on stage. 25 pounds of stage weight is a lot of weight. The physique is going to look entirely different. And Fuad actually asked Marc Hector, why don't you post any back shots, back double rear leg spread. Marc said he wants to keep somewhat of a surprise, but the back will look just as good as the front, if not better. Now, switching over to Behrooz Tabani, these are potentially the latest updates from him. Couldn't really translate the caption 100%. Behrooz is still working to get that visa, as far as I know, trying to compete in Romania, Prague, pretty much all the European shows. It's so sad that these guys always have to struggle to get a visa. As we know, Heidi Chupin struggled with this for years and years. Hopefully he doesn't struggle with it this year. I believe Nathan D. Asher actually struggled to get a visa to get to last year's Olympia as well. But I'm really excited to see Behrooz on the stage. Hopefully he can get the visa and compete. One of the most conditioned guys in the IFBB Pro League. And you guys are currently looking at Vitor Boff, who was the winner of this year's Muscle Contest Brazil. He also took a second place at the Arnold Classic Brazil to Rafa Brandao. Now, this news is courtesy of Brazil Bodybuilding News on Instagram, as you guys can see the tag. But Vitor is qualified for this year's Mr. Olympia. Not too many people talking about him, but this guy does come in condition. If you're off, Vitor might beat you at the Olympia. Now, switching over to Classic Physique, these are the most recent updates of the Texas Oak Logan Franklin. Logan looks incredible, man. This front double bicep, this is going to be very, very competitive at this year's Olympia. Back double, the lats have came up. The back as a whole has come up a lot. I know that was one of Logan's focal points. Now, he still could use a little bit of size on the legs from the back. But once again, Classic Physique has his weight cap, so it's so hard for guys to improve while being in their weight cap. They should honestly just let it go. Now, switching over to Nathan Epler, these are the most recent updates from him. And I am so excited to see Nathan put on some mass and fill out this frame, man. As you guys can see, he has a crazy shoulder to waist ratio. You'll see it even more in the most muscular shot. But once this guy adds on size, I believe he'll be one of the more aesthetic guys in men's open bodybuilding, or at least streamlined if you don't want to go with the term aesthetic. But I really like this guy's physique. Once again, just needs to put on more size. He is a little bit narrow, but as I mentioned in my last video, even with him putting on size, he's still maintaining some great condition. So hopefully we get to see Nathan Epler on stage next year, unless he decides to take a full year off to grow for the open class. Most muscular is just wild. Now, switching over to Keone Pearson. Look at the smile on Keone's face after he realized Derek Lunsford is doing the open this year. The title is wide open for grabs. That was a joke, guys, but Keone Pearson could very well be the guy to win this year's 212 Olympia. I was telling Mark's Max Muscle earlier, it's probably going to be between Sean Clarity and Keone Pearson. You guys can rip me apart in the comment section for that, because I know a lot of you guys probably rather go with Kamal, but I think Keone could potentially challenge him. You know, he's working with Patrick Tour, who is a great coach. Patrick works with Iain Valliere, used to work with James Hollingshead. Patrick is very, very good with getting his clients in shape, and we may see the best Keone ever come December, as long as he's able to control his midsection this time around. And in the next update of the day, courtesy of Buys and Tries over on Instagram, the Indy Pro is no longer a bodybuilding show. You guys can read through this if you want to, but pretty much all the comments and all the feedback has just been they're probably not getting enough money to do the show. But the Indy Pro is an incredible show, man. Hopefully someone is able to come in, step in, you know, do something about this. Blessing Awodabu was this year's winner. Last year's winner was Justin Rodriguez. I believe Steve Kuklo also won this competition twice. And the Indy Pro has always been like a precursor for the New York Pro as long as I've been in the sport. So hopefully something is done to be able to keep this competition around. Hopefully it isn't already gone for good. But we did have the entry of the new Boston Pro this year. So I guess Boston will probably take the role of Indy. Just going to be a little bit earlier in the year. And ending this video here with the archive of the day. You guys let me know in the comment section below which legendary bodybuilder is this. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. Once again, not too much going on in the means of bodybuilding news. Probably haven't posted a video in a day or two. But I promise, guys, just not many updates circulating right now. But I will get on it even more. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.